Welcome to Raising PreTeens Right. My name is Elisa DiCristina, MSW, Independent Educator. As always, these are my opinions. You are entitled to yours. Please use your discretion when watching our videos. We are speaking about youth mental health. Today's video will be on the role of the facilitator within our program. Once you are on the Raising PreTeens Right website and navigate to the solution page, in that third block, you will find a PDF that has a comparison between more of a traditional teaching role and the role of the facilitator within our program. When we think of a traditional teacher, oftentimes that's synonymous with being an expert or a content expert. When you think of a facilitator, the paradigm shift is that it's a neutral guide, that it's someone to guide people through a process. They're process experts, not content experts. Traditional teacher roles are instructor-centered. They're the information provider. The learners are more passive. The flow of information is one-directional from the teacher to the student. Students have little to no voice or choice. The teacher typically monopolizes the teaching time to disseminate the information. When thinking about the facilitator role, it's learner-centered. Information is shared. The student is very active in the conversations. The information flows in a multi-directional fashion. There's a big exchange of ideas and input from students. The students have a voice and a choice. Learners may contribute to the discussion, to maybe even shaping the lesson. Inherent in our program design is the opportunity for personal development to utilize a lot of the skills that we speak about within our program. In the instructional model, teachers are present to make students learn. We see testing that reflects that. Many tests are given to test a student on the knowledge they learned and to also evaluate the teacher and how they disseminated that information. Facilitators are present to provide guidance, resources, and support of learning. In that traditional teaching model, you see that the instructor's responsible. That often leads to a question and answer type of classroom where students engage in memorizing and giving the information. When you have a facilitated classroom, it's exploratory learning. Students are asked to question and construct new knowledge. Within exploratory learning, the ownership shifts towards the student being responsible for their learning, which is what we want to build: self-accountability, self-responsibility. Looking at a traditional teacher role, you had that fixed methodology. The learning is based on conformity, standardization, and oftentimes disengagement from the student. It's all about the push of getting the information out. In an agile or facilitator model, it's, again, engaging critical thinking, creative thinking, resourceful thinking. The students are allowed to explore different avenues of learning, where in traditional models, it's more uniform and linear driven to get to that right answer. Sometimes that more rigid instructional, traditional type of teaching can lead to more judgments, condemnation, punishment in terms of, did you do your assignment or not? Are you learning this or not? Are you behind or not? Are you meeting these standardization or not? It's very black and white, one way or the other. And if you don't fulfill the needs within the instructional classroom, then that offers room for punishment of not doing your assignment. Where in facilitation, it's a mutual understanding that's based more on discussion, understanding the material. The focus shifts a little bit. We're less interested in measuring immediate outcomes and more interested in the process, the discussion, the critical thinking, the expansion of the cognition rather than just producing the right answer. We touched upon traditional teaching has that linear type of thinking where we're trying to get to a finish line, where facilitation has the process focus, so it's lateral thinking. typically associated with traditional instruction is that one-way interaction, unless they are doing a group project or engaged in a presentation in front of the classroom. But a lot of times it's that passivity, particularly when they're on their Chromebooks a lot in the classroom. It could be that one-way interaction, even with a screen doing some of the teaching, that they're sitting on their Google Classroom or IXL or whatever software it is they're using. Whereas in facilitation, there's a two-way interaction. It's very collaborative, it's high engagement, it's a lot of discussion. Lastly, in traditional instruction, when we look at retention, a lot of times it's lower and it's more short-term focus, trying to get that information, retain that information, regurgitate the information, often forget the information. So there's that external motivation to get a good grade, to retain this information, whereas in facilitation, the retention tends to be higher because there's an internal motivation to retain that information. The learner's more invested in the process. They're oftentimes leading the group discussion. The Raising PreTeens Right personal development program acknowledges that the teacher and facilitator roles are not mutually exclusive and do overlap. Personal development is a perpetual journey of the continuous experience and process of self-growth. The facilitator is responsible for keeping the structure of the program on track through guiding the process, engagement, and discussions only when needed without imposing any personal opinions. Adult facilitation is highest during the onset of the program, with the shared goal to move towards a collaborative co-facilitator process with students rotating responsibilities. Peer-designed and peer-facilitated programs have significant benefits for increasing understanding, knowledge retention, interpersonal skills, and personal agency. The intentional design of our co-facilitation process is crucial to the success of learners. Our program is easy to run, ideally in small groups, aligning the chairs in a circle, not in rows or parallel next to each other like they are in school. It's very important to have that student engagement. Our program is designed to be taught over 3 years. There's 9 lessons per year. We are not micromanaging our groups or asking for adult membership or volunteer dues or merchandise to be bought or anything of the sort. It's simply a textbook and a facilitator guide. With that being said, it is up to the adult facilitator to make sure their groups are run safely and efficiently. That means doing background checks. That is on the ownership of the person that buys our program and wants to form that small group within their community. Certainly, our program can be run by youth pastors, community youth organization leaders. This can be run as an after-school or a before-school club. We are most likely going to develop a private facilitator-only membership page on our website where it won't cost anything for the first 3 years. We do intend to build a supportive community to our facilitators. It would be a really nice page to share stories and personal gains and successes. Becoming a facilitator couldn't be easier, and we're very interested to see groups start to flourish across the nation. Another benefit to running our program in a group is it speaks to increasing the numbers of adolescents that are interested in learning how to successfully self-navigate, and that they will start to feel less like the minority and more of the majority for being healthy and understanding a lot of what we teach in our personal development program, so that we break the cycle of this mental health crisis and start to see healthy outcomes overall in our nation. That we shift what is happening, particularly with the AI coming out. We support AI, but we also need to lift up the personal development skills to give our youth the encouragement and the foundation and the faith base that they need to be upstanding citizens. For more information, please visit raisingpreteensright.com. If you sign up for a newsletter, we will email you a discount on our program. Together, we will make a difference in youth mental wealth. Thank you for watching.